Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Josh Poet. We've come to the end of a week, getting ready for the weekend, so good for us, right? We've made it through another week, but many challenges still on the road in front of us, so we must pay attention. Today is no exception. Today on the Dream Spell, our date is called the Yellow Crystal Star. Yellow Crystal Star. Yellow is the color of ripening. Crystal tone. Tone number 12. It's like the meeting of the council to gather together where you've been so you can determine where you're going to go. And the symbol for today is the yellow star. The yellow star is all about beauty and elegance. The guide for today is the sun, which provides universal fire. The phrase for today is I dedicate in order to beautify, universalizing art. I seal the store of elegance with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of universal fire. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. On the Gregorian calendar, it is Friday, June 10th, 2011. Got a lot of information on the show. We're going to catch you up with what's going on in the world of current events, the natural disasters that are taking place, all the crazy weather, as well as much, much more. But before we do that, we're going to jump to our very own Dirk Bradshaw, who's got part 2 of his story about the moon landing hoax. Dirk, over to you.
Next up on the Cosmic News Network, the Cosmic News with Dirk Bradshaw.
Hey there, Brandon.
Yeah, it's Brian.
It is? Really? Well, whatever. Hey, I just wanted to say, you've been getting quite a name all around the place.
Really?
Well, yeah. Everyone knows that you took Wendy out, and that you went to that hot comedy club, and then to see my favorite band play.
Oh yeah. And next I am going to take her to a red carpet movie premiere.
I don't mean to be rude, but how did a scrawny mailroom boy living at home with mom and dad? How can you afford to take a girl like Wendy to all those places?
Oh, it was real easy. I just go on freeinla.com. All you do is click on the day. And whammo, everything free in Los Angeles just pops up. In fact, there are over 3,000 things.
That was easy? I thought I was going to have to make out with you or something. Oh God. The thought. I think I threw up a little in my mouth.
I have that effect on women.
Flying high above the planet Earth, this is the Cosmic News with Dirk Bradshaw. Hey there, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is time for the Cosmic News with Dirk Bradshaw. I am Dirk Bradshaw, and tonight, well, we're going to do a two-parter. We don't do these very often, but the moon landing might be the subject that deserves a two-part series. In fact, there's now negotiations of making this even a six-part series. So hopefully look forward to that. But tonight, part 2 of our investigation into the moon landing hoax. Tonight we go on a cross-country adventure interviewing real-life experts and witnesses. The moon landing. Our documentarist here, Aaron Resnick, something like that. He's first rate. I like this idea he had when he came to us, which was he wanted, as a skeptic of the hoax, wanted to go out and start figuring out the true story. He wants to be a believer that Americans finding them on the moon in the 60s. But as the story goes on, he starts realizing more and more all these weird and twisted ties, even to the Nazis. That's where we're at tonight, part 2 of his investigation into the moon landing. Stay tuned. You don't want to be the only guy at the water cooler who doesn't know this stuff. All right. For legal purposes and whatever, the guy whose story was named Aaron Rennan. All right, there you go. Contractual obligation.
We went next door to the bar with Big Daddy.
A lot of people suspect the moon landing might have been a hoax. What do you
Oh, don't even go there. I seen it on TV. I know better. Once you see it on television, you know that's the way it is, you know.
Tell us, what was the personality of Neil Armstrong like when you were able to hang out with him?
He was very nice. You know, he'd come in and you know, it was never alone though. He always had 3 or 4 hookers with him, and they'd go back down to the hotel down here. And I don't know what went on down there, but I heard stories of things that went on, scary things.
At the bar, I meet Bob Tooley. Bob spent 30 years working for NASA at the Kennedy Space Center.
They were totally against black people out there. Let me tell you, let me say that up front. They were against black people being a part of it. In fact, I had people to tell me, why don't I go to Africa and start my own space program? I would ride up that elevator to go to my office, day in, day out, and there was that KKK sign up there. What I did was sat at my desk and drew me a black power fist on a little sticker. I went to the elevator, I rode down the elevator, put that sticker on there. I told them about it. And they came and apologized and said that they didn't think that it was bothering anybody. And how can you expect it not to be bothering anybody? And, you know, needless to say, if there was any kind of problem, if there was any kind of fake thing going on, I would be the first person to expose them people. But hey, it's true. It's true. We did it.
These guys are never going to quit, huh?
The next day, Bob agrees to meet with me and introduces me to his boss, who managed information systems at Kennedy back in '69.
Because if you remember, the S4 stage had to stay connected to it, put it in Earth orbit until they were ready to aim it to the moon, and the S4 stage was still a booster. It then directed it toward the moon. We had antennas that were watching the spacecraft. In fact, we can go get you the man who the antenna man is.
Hey, tell me.
Do you know the antenna man?
Oh, we know the antenna man.
So he'll know the data was coming from the antenna, right?
He was the one tracking it. It was his job.
That was the man.
He was in control of the antenna site. They're looking for people to say, how do you know that thing went to the moon? Because apparently there's been some books written that says it never went like that. I know, it's the first thing we all say, you know, bullshit. He's sort of using this as verification that, yeah, we're talking to the man who actually built the antenna site that tracked the vehicle that says, yeah, the data came down to my antenna station and we processed the data.
We're off to see Frank Byrne, the antenna man.
He must have gone back taking a nap.
Hi.
No, we just went ahead and ate, and he's probably 3 sheets to the wind.
Frank has tossed back a few drinks prior to my arrival.
I think you're going to wind up talking to me, too.
We tracked the first satellite in the world. We tracked the first everything that went to the moon, everywhere. Well, this was one of the antennas that we received telemetry data from the spacecraft.
Yeah, you could, I guess you could simulate it, but it wasn't simulated. It was real life data.
They should ought to listen to some of our episodes on the Pacific with the Redstone and its hydrogen bomb stuff.
And what were you guys? And what happened?
Well, we're gonna test the hydrogen bomb and the damn missile. And we're not gonna talk about that on camera anymore. I have no idea what's classified and what's not. It's screwed up. Okay. End of discussion.
What? Tell us what happened.
No, we're not gonna talk about. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what's classified, what's not.
Newly declassified film footage reveals what Frank was talking about. Operation Hardtack was a series of secret atmospheric H-bomb tests launched off Johnson Island in the South Pacific in 1958, and it turns out there was an accident. The rocket, armed with a nuclear device, lost control and exploded 6 miles above the island. As you can see here, the people in the bunkers were not expecting this. Frank sends me to meet his boss, Carl Sendler, who was one of the original scientists who built the Kennedy Space Center back in the 50s. He was also on Johnson Island during this nuclear mishap.
Guidance system failed. The thing went straight up. Now, we didn't feel too good in the damn blockhouse. There wasn't much of a blockhouse to start with, né? So that thing detonating right above us, né? And there were ships out there with all kind of instrumentation to measure the effect, yeah? But it was not our responsibility. Our responsibility was only to get that thing up there, yeah?
Are you proud of the Saturn V?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on my wall if I wouldn't, eh?
Carl receives fan mail, which he responds to not with an image of a NASA rocket, but with a picture of a Nazi V-2 rocket.
It's actually a V-2 with Peenemünde. And here, what I normally sign, Peenemünde.
I later learned that Carl Sendler was part of a group of Nazi rocket scientists based here in Peenemünde on the Baltic coast of Germany.
Now, when I was in Peenemünde, I was responsible for the construction of Doppler tracking systems.
These Nazi scientists worked under the leadership of Werner von Braun, building Hitler's V-1 and V-2 rockets, which rained terror on England. Their rocket development was based on original research by the American inventor Robert Goddard and the Russian genius Tchaikovsky. After the war, these German scientists were brought to America by the United States Army, where, under the leadership of von Braun, they were settled in Huntsville, Alabama. It's here, at the American Army's Redstone Arsenal, that von Braun and his team were given the finances to continue their research begun in Germany under Adolf Hitler. This would later lead to the construction of America's giant moon rocket, the Saturn V. I wondered if there was anything in von Braun's past that would motivate him to fake a moon landing. Werner von Braun died in 1977, and so was unavailable to me as an eyewitness. But among all his acquaintances, who would know him best? I find that his NASA secretary of 20 years, Bonnie Holmes, is still alive. So I head to Alabama, in fact, the base of the Appalachian Mountains, where Bonnie now lives.
Take my picture.
I was going to ask you about the moon landing, that Apollo 11, Neil Armstrong. Do you think it was a government hoax, or do you think we actually went?
I don't know whether it did or not.
What do you think? Did you see it on TV, man landing on the moon?
Yeah, sure did.
Do you remember where you were when you watched that?
I was at the house, sitting in the chair, watching TV. Yes, sir.
And what were you thinking when you saw Neil Armstrong step on the moon?
I'm just proud he got there. Yeah.
Do you think we're ever going to be living in outer space? People will be having space colonies. Do you think that's going to happen?
Might do it. Don't know for sure. Thank you. Watch that truck coming now.
Radio.
guys. My name is Aaron. Do you think we went to the moon, or do you think it was a hoax on TV?
I reckon we really went.
A lot better things the government can do with their money than to send people to the moon.
I believe the moon landing was probably a hoax. There was a lot of things said.
Oh, man, I can't believe it's over. Where does the time go? Well, I see the fat lady's off the stage. She's looking right at me. It's time for me to go put her to bed. I hate goodbyes. So instead I'm going to say, until we meet again, I'm Dirk Bradshaw for the Cosmic News. Wake up.
If all of this is true, and the evidence strongly...
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Government should be afraid of people.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw a UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing. What they're losing from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, Big Brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. One if by land and two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. This is Josh. This is the UFO News for today. We've got a couple of stories that might pique your curiosity. The first one here, UFO over Kansas. Wichita, Kansas. A UFO was spotted over Kansas. Ken Pfeiffer submitted the following account to UFO Chronicles. It says, my wife and I took our dog for a walk sometime after 9 p.m. We had barely even begun our walk around Harvest Park when I noticed the lights in the sky. Two craft closer than I've ever seen two craft together. They weren't air show close, but they were closer than I could imagine would be safe for a civilian craft, with one slightly elevated above the other. They were identical, and they had both solid blinking lights, the color of which I would describe as deep saturated yellow. They were low, less than 20 degrees above the horizon, traveling at a steady rate of speed without changing direction. The airspeed wasn't out of range of terrestrial craft, but there was some moving at a pretty good clip. I stopped and watched the craft track from east to south as my wife walked on. I listened intently but heard nothing but the wind. As the wind was coming from the direction of the craft, no jet engine roar, no propeller noise, no helicopter sound. They were slow. They were actually disappeared behind trees in the horizon. I ran to catch up with my wife. No sooner did I reach her and the dog than we spotted another pair of identical craft to the north, heading west. They were a bit further off, slightly higher, and they were just a bit closer to each other. It gets stranger. I wanted to rule out the helicopters before making my final judgment, so I made a series of phone calls. First I called Wesley Medical Center, Wichita, LifeWatch, and Eagle Med to determine that they didn't have any helicopters paired up and working over Wichita at the time. I called the local FAA, who said they didn't know anything. They pointed me to the Mid-Continent Control Tower. This is where my hunt for the answer took a turn. I had a very weird conversation with a woman named Peggy. I literally didn't have any question out before she was answering it. No, there wasn't anything going on. She was outside at that time and didn't see anything, but here's the deal. I hadn't even mentioned at the time frame before she had begun answering my question, and confidently at that. My intuition was screaming. I have no proof, but I can tell you it seemed very much like she knew exactly what I was talking about before I was even done talking about it. She was outside at that time and didn't see anything. She started answering before I mentioned the time. I quickly developed the impression I might be the first person she talked to about the lights in the sky last night. Then Peggy suggested I talk to the TV news station in town. If anything was going on, those people always knew about it, she said. She was almost confrontational at this point, but I wasn't looking for information on UFOs. I haven't even alluded to them. I was looking for info on aircraft in the sky at the time. Why did she go there? Why was the traffic control information person pawing me up to a news station about craft in the sky anyway? Does not add up. Last night was warm and there were people out and about. I figured if my wife and I saw something over densely populated area, certainly someone else did. So I checked UFO Stalker this morning. I do almost daily anyway, and I can tell you it's rare to have a recent MUFON report from our region. Anything close is usually from Oklahoma or Kansas City. But lo and behold, there was a marker over Wichita, Kansas this morning. The first since May 23rd. Seems someone on the east side of town saw something too. The sighting is similar in that there were two craft together, and these were described as orange lights. Over here we have a story out of China. This is a UFO sighting that took place in China just prior to the earthquake in May. Let me jump you over to this here so you can get a good bird's eye view. Listen to this.
人的飞行器，这些年好像隔不多久就有人说见过这玩意儿了。前几天山东烟台莱州周玉平也说他看见 UFO 了。
抬头就看到东北方向吧，有两个亮点儿，蓝色的。一开始吧没太在意，你说是飞机吧，它应该是一眨一眨的，再一个是应该动。但是它在悬空，一点不动，而且没有任何声音。
周玉平看见的亮点呈 V 字形，他觉得不同寻常，赶紧进屋，拿起相机拍了下来。
我是开闪光灯，按了两下快门以后，闪光灯这一闪，没寻思你两个亮点要动起来，一点声音都没有，马上往西飞，往西，而且是速度很快。我这一看的话，我就怀疑就是个不明飞行，我马上就上屋来，拿着摄像机。
周玉平是一个航天迷，平时就喜欢关注 UFO 的报道。虽然大多数 UFO 的报道最终解释都是发光风筝、孔明灯等等，但周玉平确信自己见到的肯定不是这些东西。
孔明灯是一个灯是红色的，然后它飘吧，不可能一个是速度不可能那么快，再一个吧，它飘的不可能有那个航道，不可能有个直线飞行，所以吧。风筝吧，也不可能飞的速度那么快，也不可能飞那么远。
我们也翻查了以往的新闻，发现这个烟台市民说见过 UFO 的事件呀，已经多达10几次了。如果真是外星人的话，看来他们还真是特别喜欢烟台这个地方呢。
All right, for those of you not familiar with the language, they were talking about, let me back up here, they were talking about this triangle-shaped UFO in the sky. As you can see from the lights, it's definitely a triangle. There's looks like two lights in the front that are of a reddish color, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 lights going back on either side of the triangle. So that is the discussion there. Here we go, crop circle. Connector.com. There was a new crop circle out. Let me let you get a good bird's eye view of this right here. This is the most recent crop circle, June 9th, and this took place out in near Ashbury, Oxfordshire. Kingstone Combs. All right, so what we've got here, we got another shot here. It looks kind of like it's a circle, and then there are 3 other circles that are connected to it. And it almost, I don't know what that is, but very interesting. If you have any ideas looking at this, what you think it might be, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are on it. There's plenty of good images here. We've got this linked up at our page. Just click on the UFO News link and you'll see the crop circle. Very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. You got the 3 circles. Looks like gears working together in some sort of a way. Not quite certain what that is, but now you know what is out there. And last but not least here, these are a variety of different UFOs that are out there. These are pictures that were taken on June of this month. Well, June is this month. And you go through, and here we got the Soho, the sun, and we got some images up there. And as you notice right in this area up here, if you notice in this area right up here, we've got a series of, well, again, 1, 2, 3, 4 lights. They don't quite look like they are connected to the same craft. It's a possibility. They look more like 4 individual lights because they're not really all on the same line here. Let me continue on a little bit more. There you go again. You got the lights there. And just prior to the, here we go. This is, I believe, lightning in Wichita, Kansas. And you could see we got something in the sky. Kind of looks like a triangle, umbrella sort of thing floating in the sky. And a couple images here of another face on Mars. I don't know if you can see this right in this area here. And there's another one comes up right after this. There you go. It's another image. It almost looks like a human face from this angle, or a face. Don't know what kind of creature it might look like, but you can check these out yourself. See what you think. So as you can see, a lot of interesting stories out there. More discoveries, more UFOs. What's going on with the UFOs? Are they friends? Or are they enemies? Are they getting ready to attack? Or are they out there somehow helping us, getting ready to make further contact here on the planet with the Earthlings who are deciding whether they're going to shoot at them or not? It's all a good question, good dilemma. But one thing I certainly know is from all the reports that we've been making that they are gathering out there. So either they are gathering out there like audience members gathering in a stadium to watch something that is about to happen, or they are gathering because they will be participants in an event that's about to happen, or a combination of both. Something is going on, my friend, something worthy of our attention. So continue looking into it on your own. Don't just stop here with the show. Look into it, see what you think. That's the way we figure all this stuff out, by just diving into it. Now let me jump to a song. I'll be right back. This is called We Never Went to the Moon.
It is. Then our government, for some reason, has taken the stance that the general public must not be told the truth.
There we go. Ready?
Did we really go to the moon? Did we really land on the moon? And why weren't there any stars? Did we really go to the moon? Did we really land on the moon? And why weren't there any stars? Why weren't there any stars? July 20, 1969, 3 astronauts embarked on a historic mission to the moon. On Earth, millions of people gather together and watch it live on TV. Did we really go to the moon? Did we really land on the moon? And why weren't there any stars? Some say the whole thing was a fake, that we didn't have the technology yet to accomplish this feat. And in haste to win the Cold War, created one of the greatest hoaxes of all time. Did we really go to the moon? Did we really land on the moon? And why weren't there any stars? Despite the fact that there is no atmosphere on the moon, we all watched the American flag flapping strongly in the wind. And we saw astronauts walking upon a surface that they described as much like the high desert of the United States. Did we really go to the moon? Did we really land on the moon? And why weren't there any stars? Too many questions and not enough answers. Did the Eagle really land? $40 billion to tell a story. Are there really footprints in the moon's sand? What do you think? Did we really go to the moon? Did we really land on the moon? And why weren't there any stars? Why weren't there any stars? In the sky, there should be some stars. There weren't any stars. Why weren't there any stars? Did we really go to the moon? Did we really land on the moon? Why weren't there any stars? Why weren't there any stars? Why weren't there any stars? Did we really go to the moon? right, everybody, welcome back. That was We Never Went to the Moon. Okay. Here's what's going on. Let's start off right here.
Infowars.com. You just look at this. Clinton to head globalist loan sharking operation at the World Bank. Uh-oh. And we've got good coverage of what's going on in Bilderberg. You know about the Bilderberg Group. They meet once a year to discuss world events behind closed doors. Events that should be out in the public and events that should be known by the public because these are events that affect the public. Why are there people from around the world discussing these world events behind closed doors, events that are going to affect the United States of America? And why does not the majority of Congress know about this? And why are not the mainstream, shall I say the lamestream media, why are they not out there discussing these things? Oh, that's right. They're bought and paid for by the corporate America. Therefore, they're not going to talk about these scams that they want to pull on the country. I forgot for a minute. Now I remember. If you go to Infowars.com, though, they've got a whole lot of information for you. Here you go. Bilderberg 2011 photographs of delegates arriving at the airport. And as you can see here, we've got a number of pictures. This looks like Bill Gates pulling up there to the conference. We've got the planes. You can go there, you can see all kind of stuff there. We got the helicopters bringing them in. We've got the security guards set up. Swiss Guard, believe. Where else? Clear message, globalist with legal. Because easily washable spray can, filmed by Luke Radowski. Elsewhere in Switzerland. Let's see. You got some good pictures. Luke Radowski is out there getting all this information, putting it out there. He's one of many. You can see there's a lot of journalists that are out there covering this. And then you got the cars coming in. They cover up their license plate. They don't want you to see what's going on. Obviously, they're ashamed of their actions and what they're doing. Here you see the police that are out there that are guarding all of this. If the police knew that they were guarding those who were potentially going to do things that were going to end up hurting the ones guarding them, do you think they would be guarding them? And, of course, more arrivals. There's the Bill Gates one again, and here you go. Looks like David Rockefeller, and on. You can go through there. You see a lot of stuff. They've got some great videos up there. This is one, Revolution Against the Bilderberg Accelerating, and a number more, you know. You go online, just look up Infowars. Look up Luke Radowski. We Are Change. He's out there. He's doing a great job. Just watching what he does, man. That guy's got a lot of guts. The way he just jumps in front of them with his with information, and they put a hand on him, and he just steps right up. Take your hands off me, and he's very direct, and he's doing a great job out there. So keep up the good work, Luke. I have some things I'd like you to look at. We're not going to have time to play all of these here, but I want you to know about them. Dutch Sins has some new information out there. It says global earthquake threat overview and update. So let's take a quick listen to this, shall we? Oh, let me back up here. Here we go.
Curling down around through New Zealand, up through Japan, across through Alaska, down through California, across the United States, all the way up through Missouri and Ohio, down through Central America, through Mexico, Nicaragua, El Salvador, all the way down to the northern tip of South America, and then all the way down to the southern tip of South America along the coast of Chile. Again, out over in the Pacific, southern Pacific, there's a ridge that goes basically northwest from the South Pole, and it experienced a 4.9. On the other side, you see Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has experienced thousands of earthquakes in the past few months, I suppose. And then down the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, starting up at the North Pole, in between Greenland and Canada, going all the way down to the South Pole, north of Antarctica. As we get over to Europe, you're looking at Italy, Turkey, and these are just the earthquakes that are fed through the USGS, so we're going to have to go take a look at these really quick in a minute. But I just wanted to show you globally, overall, where the threat watch is occurring. Now, if I take this back to the last day, there we go, 24 hours, you can see the areas of activity that are of concern. Here's Utah, 2.5. Nevada, California border, 3.0. Southern California, 4.4. Let me just show that to you. There you go, 4.4, followed up by 2.9, 2.6 in the same spot. And then almost equidistantly spaced all the way down the coast of California. Over here in Puerto Rico, to the west of the island, in between Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, on the north side, where the ridge goes down into deep abyss ocean, that area as well has been experiencing a large number of earthquakes. New Zealand, well, there's no way out of this for you guys. From New Zealand all the way up to Indonesia, all the way up into the Philippines, you're looking at 5, 6, and 7.0 threat watch for earthquakes that occurs basically from Indochina in this U shape all the way up to Japan. Anywhere in this area right here, and then in a upside down J fashion, all the way down to New Zealand. So anywhere in this area here, 5 to 6.0, maybe even borderline 7.0 earthquake threat watch over the next few weeks. In the United States, earthquake threat watch still exists, and it basically from the Pacific Northwest down to Baja, California, east into Arkansas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, and northeast up to the southern portions of Canada and New York. So now that we've looked at those, let's go ahead and see if we can find, let's see here, the European quakes, and let's see what's going on over in Europe. There we go. And we'll open up their interactive map so we can see exactly what's going on. And there literally is no data sharing between the EMSC and the USGS. They do not list each other's earthquakes, and well, that's just the way it goes. So here's the European site for the last 48 hours, and let's get this to load. Once it loads, we'll be able to see. I'm sorry for the slow.
Jump ahead here.
Western Spain, northern tip of western Spain down to Gibraltar, east into Italy, Greece, Turkey. You can see the spike in activity down here in southern Europe. As you go north, you've got Czech Republic and Poland that each experience their own borderline up to 4.0 earthquakes, and those happen almost on a regular basis. Here's a 4.1, and then a smaller, well, what do we got? Well, they're overshadowing each other.
Alright, let me just jump
okay,
up
this
here.
Is just the last few. If I can find it, Charwood Fort. HMNX is the next one.
Alright, so as you can see, there's a lot of activity going on. You can go and watch this video on your own. I've got it linked up at our YouTube page, so all you got to do is just go there for today's playlist, and you'll have this video there to watch the entire thing. There's a lot of information there. Another one I want to make you aware of here is the other day I played a video from Patriotic Space, who took a video image of one of these crazy cloud things that were taking place in the sky above his area. And he went ahead and did some analysis of it where he ran it through an audio program, sped it up a bit, and there were these strange sounds in it, these frequencies. Well, there was another researcher, I didn't catch what his name was, but wow, what an amazing job. He took this whole video. I can show you here bits and pieces and kind of give you a summary of how he broke this all down. Took this video here, and as he went through it, he actually went ahead and opened up the WAV file, created a WAV file of this, and then started eliminating frequencies that were above or below the range where these tones were coming from. And he got to the point where he just got to one, and let me let you hear what this sounds like. Let me back up here. Here we go.
So,
can you hear that?
500, 600, yeah. Yeah, it is. Let me zoom out a little bit more. This video. So, it's my...
Alright, so you should listen to this on your own. You'll be able to hear it a little bit better. But very interesting, all the tones that he picked up through there and how he was able to isolate this signal. So now someone can go ahead and they can do any further research on what that might be. Is it HARP? Is it a frequency coming off of HARP? I don't know. Is it a frequency coming off of a ship that this is something like contact and it's an embedded signal in there in the same way that Jodie Foster heard the signal coming from outer space? I don't know. But there's something going on that's more than meets the eye, and well, they're not running this story on Fox, CNN, or any of those mainstream news stations. All right. So there you have it. I'm going to play for you a little special I want to play for you. Introduce to you. We're not going to probably get a chance to play this whole thing either, but I'll play some of it. Do you know about the Vril Society? VRIL? Well, you're going to know now, and then you can find out more later as you read along. So, here we go. This is the Vril.
For one of the most terrifying ideologies. A little-known occult group may have been an inspiration for one of the most terrifying ideologies of the 20th century. It formed a dark fellowship that was established nearly 100 years ago. It seems that its original members believed that they could live below the Earth's surface and fly to distant stars. Their power would be a mysterious substance called Vril. They also believed that one day they would take over the world. They came very close. The mysterious group claimed influence in the highest ranks of the German power structure of the 1930s. This dark fellowship may have been a Nazi cult. The stories of history's dark fellowships strike fear into many hearts. But what are the truths behind the stories? Throughout history, there have been secret organizations striving for influence in political circles. But if the bizarre legends about the Vril Society are true, the organization is particularly unsettling.
The Vril Society is the most mysterious German secret society ever in history. They were originally founded before the Second World War, and their influence reaches out even till today.
Its members are said to have included senior figures in the Nazi Party, like Hermann Goering, Heinrich Himmler, and even Adolf Hitler.
The Vril Society was a dark fellowship. They sought to achieve the mastery of the Aryan race.
Before they were able to influence the Nazis, Vril occultists worked in complete secrecy, doing anything to promote Aryan power.
What they did, that ranged from straightforward political assassinations, trying to evoke the spirits of the dead, good old-fashioned, what one might call sexual orgies, and more sinisterly, human sacrifice.
Michael Fitzgerald is one of just a few historians willing to identify the secrets of the Vril Society. Few records exist, but he claims first-hand sources.
Some of my information about the Vril Society has come from direct sources. Some of them swore me to secrecy during their lifetime and have now died.
So he is now free to offer his assessment.
The Vril Society was a group of people founded at the end of the First World War, and it included many people who were to go on to become prominent in the Nazi Party.
Like any secret society, it had its secret practices. But what made the Vril Society so unique was its members' obsession with an intangible power force called Vril.
This power was universal energy. It could do anything. All currents of harm and healing and so on were enclosed within it. It's similar to the Indian concept of prana in many ways, or the Chinese concept of qi.
Chinese philosophers believed that qi is the life energy that runs through us all. The Vril Society believed they could harness this energy.
And they believed that Vril power could be used to gain material power.
So they were frantically searching for this Vril force.
Dutchman Theo Peymans has dedicated 25 years of his life to studying the Vril Society.
My research has established that certain bureaus in Nazi Germany were frantically searching for this new energy.
Obtaining supernatural power might require supernatural efforts.
They sought the power of Vril through a variety of different means. There were naturally meditative practices, which were obviously the mainstay of most of their activities.
But they weren't meditating to gain inner peace.
The theory is that they practice these meditation techniques in order to further the strength of the Vril in themselves.
If it was a strength that could potentially dominate the world, wouldn't the members of the Vril Society have done more than esoteric meditation to attain it?
They were also very involved with what one might call loosely sex magic.
There's an enormous history of sexual magic going back to witches and witches using sexual powers. This is nothing new.
Members of the society are said to have used the magic of sex to summon the power of Vril.
There were some sexual practices that went on in the Vril Society.
This carnal method of harvesting Vril was less magical and closer to an excuse for swapping partners.
Alright, we're going to end right there. That's all we have time for today. But the entire video, actually there's a couple of parts to it, is at our playlist there at YouTube. I want to thank Jen and Jason for pointing me in the right direction on that information. Interesting connections there, don't you think, between the stories of today? There's the German von Braun, who was working with Hitler, that was working with the U.S. space program with NASA, and then you had the Germans and Hitler working to find this Vril energy. There's a lot of connections out there, more connections than people realize between Germany and America and all that kind of stuff. So, good information. Go watch the rest of it. There's a couple of parts. There's a lot more information online about it, and I think you'll find something new that maybe you didn't know about. Alright, now we've come to that time, oh, not the UFO news time, we're coming to the time when we're going to chill out a little bit. Time to chill out before we head off for the weekend. Time to gather your thoughts and prepare for your last day before the weekend. So I want you to go ahead and just close your eyes and relax. Close your eyes and relax. I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine that you are walking along that path of life that we've been walking along all week long. And I want you to stop and I want you to look back over your shoulder and notice as you look back you're able to see the distance that you came all week long. And you think back for a moment of all the things that you've done for the entire week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And you think about all that you've done, how far you've come. And you know that the journey for this week is about to come to a resting point. You have one more little stretch to go today. So think about today. Think about this last stretch that you have to go before you get to that resting point, and think about what it is you want to finish, what it is you want to see completed from the course of this week. Imagine that in your mind's eye. Think about it. Think about it in your mind's eye. Hold that energy in your heart space. Think a good thought for all the people around you you're going to meet today. And take a moment right now just to send out love. Send out love to everyone around the planet. Just go ahead and close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the word love, and imagine sending this love around the planet like a huge blanket that just covers over everything and everyone. And then just imagine this love settling down into the earth to bring healing to the earth. And then allow love to go up into the sky, just to drift up to bring healing to all of the cosmos. Because the earth right now is going through a great transition. And we, as travelers on earth, must learn to get in sync with the earth so that we can move with her along her journey of transformation. Now, I just want you to think of peaceful thoughts. Hold that good thought, that good vibe in your heart, that good idea of how you want today to go. And with that good thought, let's bring our energy and attention back, holding on to that good thought, as if this is the secret you're bringing out from the cave into the world. This is the fire that you're bringing out into the darkened world. And it starts with you. And bring our energy and attention back to the present moment, holding on to that good thought that we share with the world. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Go ahead and shake out your arms, shake out your legs. Put your mind and attention back to where we are at the moment. Where we are at the moment. And that, my friends, well, that brings us to the end of our show. The end of our meditation. It's had a good week. We've gone over a lot of information. And, well, we're going to go over more next week. You heard about the moon landing. You've heard about the Vril Society. You've heard about all the natural disasters that are taking place. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. A lot of stuff. But the only way we can get through it is if we bond together. We no longer can look to the mainstream media for information about what's going on. They've shown over and over again that they have no concern or care for anything other than following the corporate agenda. Therefore, we need to bond with each other because we are out there. Many of us out there in the alternative media scene, putting out information that is accurate to what is going on in the world. Look up for yourself. Do some Googling. Spend the weekend studying, researching. Go to firstcontactradio.com. We've got all kind of links there on the right-hand side. You'll find our UFO news links. You'll find the links to our YouTube page, as well as links to a number of the other sources that we get our information from. There's a lot out there. The more that you know, the better off you're going to be, and the better off you're going to be able to help your family and your friends. For the times are getting challenging, my friends. And they're just getting revved up, I have a feeling. Something's about to go on. That's why all the ships are gathering out there. You may not hear about them on the news. You're hearing about them here right now. They're out there. They're preparing or waiting for something to occur. So let us prepare as well, so that when something does occur, we're not caught off guard. We're not like deer in a headlight, but are prepared for what's going on. Either way, we will be better off that way. For Dirk Bradshaw, I'm Josh Poet. I'll talk to you tomorrow, or actually on Monday. Peace. I'm out of here.